Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-op Podcast, episode 117. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and today I'm joined by Gary A. Swaby. How's it going, Gary?
Hey, what's up? Not too bad. Just, excited for this show and enjoying the weekend. So let's go.
Yes, we also have Mr. Jake James Lugo, who will be joining us at some point. But because we don't have that much to cover and we all have a lot of other things we have to do, we're going to go ahead and get started right now. First and foremost, we're going to jump into what we've been playing. Gary, what have you been playing?
Well, just today, I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat X. I did the King of the Hill online mode, and to my surprise, I actually didn't suck. Like I was actually kicking ass, and I was actually the King of the Hill for quite some time. I had a little streak going, so I'm kind of feeling myself right now. Like I feel like I might be able to take on Carl Daniel now, and he might not whoop my ass this time. So, I'm looking for any and all challenges. So, hit me up, Swift Epics on PSN. I also went ahead and bought the season pass. So, I haven't tried Jason out yet, but I can confirm that he's overpowered as shit. Like, he's the most overpowered character in the game. Like, and people were just spamming the shit out of him online. And even your boy Carl Daniel was spamming him last time I played. So, yeah, Jason is a tough cookie to beat. I hope Predator ain't that bad. I hope Predator is more combo based because, with Jason, it's just special attack. I like characters that have good combos and stuff. Like I like characters that have less special attacks and more combos. Like Devora, she's great because she's got that perfect balance. I think. Yeah. Besides that, I haven't played much at all this week. It's been a long week, man. So
yeah, I fully understand that. Well, I look forward to seeing, or rather hearing about your matches with Carl Daniel. I will never see him because the game is region locked. So, anybody that is listening to this, you want to play Gary, you need to remember this. You got to, if you live in the UK or you have a European copy of the game, well, yeah, that's how you can play him.
Yeah, that really sucks, man. I noticed that I think NetherRealm said they plan on working on the netcode or something like that. I don't know how much they can do now, but if they could fix it to where it's not region locked anymore, that would be great. But I don't know if they can do that while the game is already out. I don't know. But
no, I did see they said some stuff in that last stream where I think I appreciate that they acknowledged that there were some issues and they addressed it, but they're not going. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix that. It all depends what they can do, but I really don't think they're going to be able to fix that. One thing I did find funny about that is they said that they were overwhelmed by the amount of people that actually bought the game. Come on, son, this is Mortal Kombat. What are they thinking? They should have known this was going to sell like hotcakes. But I guess they're a little humbled by that, but we'll see what they do. It's all right. So what I've been playing is I also have been playing Mortal Kombat. I can confirm Jason definitely is powerful. I decided to play the classic tower as Jason because I wanted to see what the story would be when you get to the end. And, there's some silly stuff at the end. Jason kills Liu Kang and gets into a fight with Liu Kang and kills him. That's all. But still, the character is good. My only real complaint about the Jason character, besides the fact that he's powerful, I don't have any real issues with the powerful stuff when I play as him because I whoop everybody's ass. But the issue I have with him is that there's no other costumes for him. And that's a little ridiculous. I know this is something that.
Are you sure? Because I'm sure I saw one other costume.
I didn't see anything. Only thing I saw was the one that was in the video. I didn't see him have on any other outfits.
I'm pretty sure I've seen someone online have a costume where like he has a black t-shirt or something instead.
I gotta check that. I gotta check that because I haven't seen it yet.
Maybe you gotta unlock it or something.
Yeah, maybe. Well, hopefully, because I mean the thing is the fatalities are already unlocked. And I know that you're able to unlock the fatalities with every other character when you purchase them in the crypt. So I didn't really know if I figured that a lot of stuff is just already unlocked for Jason, but I haven't seen the costume. I have to go back and check that to see if there is other costumes. But overall, the DLC is good. Looking forward to Predator. I know they teased that in the stream in the other characters, so we'll see how that turns out. Aside from Mortal Kombat, I've also been playing Wolfenstein: The New Blood. I'm working on a review right now for the website, so that'll be up soon. Maybe before by the time that this goes live on the site. Game is awesome, but I enjoyed the first one, so I may be biased. I saw some people were saying that the game it drags on for too long. I completely disagree with that because this is a standalone expansion. It's 8 chapters. And it pretty much is, the best way to describe it is about half of what the full game is, but it's a prequel that takes place before the full game. It's not really too many story things. It's a little light on story when compared to the full game. So it's mainly just you have 2 objectives: is to get into Castle Wolfenstein and to find Deathhead's compound. And basically it's broken up into 2 major things you have to do across the 8 chapters. But it's fun. It's great. Just the same great gameplay they had in the last game. So I definitely recommend it. And people should check out the review when I post it up because I do have a lot to say about it. But overall, if you enjoy the first Wolfenstein game, you'll definitely appreciate this. You will probably want to see more in the future, but I don't really know what this studio is going to work on next.
I definitely plan on. I've had the Wolfenstein game on my wish list for a while on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have a summer sale coming up, so I hope that there's a sale for that game, and then I'm definitely gonna buy that and get into it because I know you said that game is pretty dope, and I always see you playing it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, try and get the platinum trophies. I already got one of them. Well, let me get this one next. It's just the story is, like I said, the story is great. So like an old school shooter. And then of course the controller vibrates when you use the gun. A lot of games, that's not really in every game like that to that degree. It just is a good game. It's solid. It was one of the surprise games from last year, aside from Shadow of Mordor. So of course it didn't really get any recognition because of other shooters that were out, but that's all good. Still, it was a good game. Definitely worth checking out. But yeah, I mean, that's all I've been playing. Getting ready for The Witcher 3, so I'll have something to say about that very soon. So, as I said earlier, this is a light week for topics because everything is getting ready for E3, in a couple of weeks. So we're just going to talk about a few of the main things that were talked about this week. First and foremost, first topic is there's a new Assassin's Creed game that's going to be announced on May 12th. That I believe that's on, is it on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday? So here's the deal with this. We know that this is coming. It was originally supposed to be called Assassin's Creed Victory. Now, yesterday I heard that it's now going to be called Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I find interesting. I'll say something about that. But it's also going to be rumored to take place in Victoria, England. Another game that took place in the alternative Victoria, England this year, The Order 1886. So a very popular place to use for gaming now, apparently. But what do you think about this game, Gary? Do you think that this game is going to make up for what happened last year with Unity? Or do you think that Ubisoft is digging themselves another hole with raising expectations for this game already?
I definitely think they're digging themselves a hole. Like they need to put this IP away for at least 2 years or something. They just need to take a year off at the very least. I mean, me personally, I beat every single Assassin's Creed game that came out, on console up until Assassin's Creed Unity. I played a lot of Assassin's Creed Unity, but I just didn't have the motivation to finish the game because, you know, there was other stuff out and, you know, I was busy and, you know, all that stuff. I mean, I still might beat it, but just the fact that that was the very first one that I didn't beat, that kind of, you know, says something a little bit. And I'm kind of souring on Assassin's Creed a little bit now because, you know, it just needs to, we need to miss it. We need a chance to miss the game, you know, before I can get excited about it again. And it's hard to, you know, miss it when it seems like they're always announcing a new one pretty much. But the thing is, the fact that it's going to be set in London, that's kind of intriguing to me because, you know, obviously I live very close by London. So it would be great to see, you know, Victorian London in, you know, the Assassin's Creed universe and stuff. So I'm quite interested in that. So I may still end up getting the game regardless, but I definitely feel like, you know, it's too soon, and Ubisoft are trying to act like they didn't get huge backlash from Assassin's Creed Unity. You know, like you can't just shrug that off. Like that was you received a lot of criticism, you messed up to a lot of people. I mean, me personally, I wasn't that bothered by all the bugs and stuff that people were complaining about, but a lot of people were, and you know that kind of made people look at the IP negatively. So yeah. I think they should focus on, you know, refining it and perfecting it first before they, you know, rush to get it out again. They have other IPs they could, you know, work on and release and stuff. I mean, why do they always have to rely on Assassin's Creed every year? You know, it's crazy. I just want to see them mix things up a little bit, you know. But what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. What you said about last year, yes, all that bad stuff happened. The stock also dropped because of what happened with this game, the backlash for this particular game. So, yeah, I agree that they definitely should take a breather, but that's probably not, that will never happen because they know that they keep making these releases every year. This is what the fans want, apparently. I just don't get it. Now, one thing I will commend them on, the fact that they changed the title to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, because if they left that title as Victory, that would just be horrible on so many levels because of what happened last year. You can't say that this game is going to be a success, and by having Victory in the title, that would imply that, okay, yeah, this is it's an awesome game, excellent title. It just doesn't make sense in correlation with what happened last year with Unity, because that game did so poorly with the performance issues, so on and so forth. Maybe the story, a lot of people didn't like the story. I know Mills in his review said he didn't like the story quite as much. It just felt like the game was unfinished. So they definitely could have given more time. Now, the fact that another Ubisoft studio was working on this game, that will probably make it a little less of a concern. But still, I think those that are Assassin's Creed fans, they expect quality from this. So not really sure if they are going to be able to pull that off. I know I will not be picking up the game because the thing is that I was done with Assassin's Creed after they killed off Ezio. Assassin's Creed 2 is still the best in my personal opinion. I did not play Black Flag. I did not play the other one, so I could be wrong. But to me, it's like I think it lost its flair when it continues to extend and extend and extend. When really they have to get to, they talked about a lot of stuff in some of the previous games that will lead to the end of the world, so to speak. So them going back in time now to all talk about all this other stuff is like, okay, this is just it's as if they're padding to get to the main storyline that I actually want to see the future of what's going on now. So that's why I said I think I'm gonna take a break from this. But yeah, I do agree that they have a lot of other titles they need to be focused on. I heard yesterday that they brought in another division of Ubisoft to work on The Division, another game that's supposed to come out this year. So that game will obviously be a big deal if it does come out this year. You know, probably a holiday game, if you will. I'm not sure about Far Cry Blood Dragon. I'm pretty sure they are going to try and do something else for that. and of course Just Dance and all the other little stuff that people like me don't really care about. But they have other stuff they can do. But Assassin's Creed is their go-to moneymaker. Oh yeah, Rainbow Six. I forgot about that. Rainbow Six. So they have stuff coming out this year. Assassin's Creed wasn't needed, but you knew it was already a guarantee it's going to be out there because it's Assassin's Creed. I just hope that it does turn out good for the sake of those that are fans. They deserve a good game and a game that actually works. If not, then yeah, the Ubisoft, I won't be surprised if they have issues and they have even more backlash from this title. But we'll find out when it's revealed this upcoming week.
Yeah, I guess we will. And I mean, as for the modern day stuff that you was excited about in Assassin's Creed, they've pretty much killed that off now. Like, I mean, we got some of it in Assassin's Creed 3, but it seemed to me like they just wanted to kill that whole thing off just so they can focus on the actual, past and stuff. Because it seems like a lot of Assassin's Creed fans just enjoy playing, the past stuff, the past sequences, and they're not so thrilled about the modern world stuff. So I think Ubisoft made the decision to axe that whole modern world thing. And, the past couple ones have just been literally you as a first person character logging into a machine to play, the previous
that's it.
ancestors and stuff like that. So yeah, they've kind of gone away from the whole modern world thing, and they don't really even try to flesh it out anymore. It's just you log into a machine and you play this ancestor. That's pretty much it now.
Well, here's a quick question before we move on to the next topic. Do you think that this series is going to end by the end of this console generation?
I think it will be forced to end. I think if Ubisoft had their way, it probably wouldn't end, but it's going to be forced to be ended because people aren't going to respond to it like they did before. People are going to get tired of it, and if they continue to mess up with bugs and all this stuff, then it's gonna look bad for them. So at some point, they're gonna have to take the IP away for a little while. Put it on vacation for a little while.
Well, they need to do that. I thought Watch Dogs would be the one that would replace it since they have such high expectations for that. But I don't know. We have to see how that pans out. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much all we got to say about Assassin's Creed. Hopefully, it turns out good. I don't know. I'm not picking it up anyway because there will be too many other games that I will want to get when that does come out. So we'll see what happens though. So let's move on to the next topic. I received the press release this week, as I'm sure a lot of people did, confirming that the Oculus Rift is now scheduled to come out in the first quarter of 2016. I saw a photo build of how it will look for the consumers. No price point yet, which I find interesting, but I guess they'll talk more about that at E3 or shortly thereafter. But here's the question. Do you think that this device, first and foremost, do you think people are ready for this type of device? And do you think that it's going to be, basically, I want to say, priced correctly for consumers to actually afford it?
See, a lot has to be done for this to, really catch on, because this is a technology that, it might be something that's before a lot of people's time. Like VR is it's like the future, and it's almost here. It's almost being packaged to us, but I don't think a lot of people are ready to adopt it yet, or their minds can't fathom, what it actually is at this point. So I think there needs to be a lot of education done on, Facebook and Oculus's part to show what the technology can do. Like, they need to present this on, a grand stage, whether it be E3 or their own event or something, I don't know, but they need to really have something big, a big spectacle where they show what the Oculus Rift can do. Because me personally, like, if you would ask me 2 years ago or something, I really did not care about VR at all. But recently, you know, I read the amazing novel by Ernest Cline called Ready Player One, and you know, it's basically it's a dystopian story where, you know, the world is kind of crumbling and everybody is seeking refuge inside this virtual reality space, and it uses technology like the Oculus Rift to, you know, it signs you into like a virtual world, and it's kind of like an MMO slash Second Life slash Facebook thing with an avatar, you know, and everybody is kind of lost in this world. And you know, with the themes that that novel has addressed, it kind of got me a little bit excited for VR, because you know, some of the stuff seems really cool, you know. And if Oculus and Project Morpheus are capable of, you know, doing some of the things that were in that novel, that would be awesome. And you know, I see that there's games like damn, I forgot the name. I always forget the name. That space game that Charles plays a lot, and Brian.
Uh,
It's on Steam.
Not Star Citizen, is it?
Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, that's it.
Star Citizen as well, but Elite Dangerous is the one I mean. I know that game can work with Oculus already if you have a developer model of Oculus. So, you know, stuff like that, it would be great to experience, I think. And I actually got to try Oculus out last year at Eurogamer, and I was very impressed with it, you know. So as far as pricing, they need to really get it right, because it's I don't see it catching on with the casual as easy. You know, hardcore gamers might embrace it, but the casual audience, I don't think they're ready for it. So the price has to at least be attractive for a lot of people to adopt it. So I think, you know, like maybe 150 max is
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It may be too low.
yeah, it's too low, but I mean, I don't know if people are ready to pay more than that though for VR. Like, what do you think?
Okay, well, I think that I do agree that the VR technology is interesting. I also got a chance to play the Oculus at E3 last year, and I thought it was great. The only issue was that I did not necessarily like the game that I was playing, because not really a type of game that I was interested in per se. But to answer the question about the pricing in particular, I do think that maybe something around 199 is probably going to be a price point, or you know, maybe even 249, but that may be a little steep. But the thing about it is that what I think they're going to need to sell this device and to sell this experience to people, I do agree that they can have more information about it, and it definitely needs to be on a grander stage at E3, such as a presentation. Maybe it'll be a major part of the PC presentation, the PC Gamers event that's going to happen at E3. But what I think they really need to emphasize is that they need to have games to sell the device. Adrift is a game that I know is a big game this year that makes use of that technology. So I fully expect them to show, they have to somehow show people the difference of playing it on the Oculus Rift and then just playing it without the Rift, just to get the effect of why people need this peripheral. I'm not really sure what other games. I know Elite Dangerous is coming out in 2016. No, that's out now. Star Citizen is coming out in 2016. So they really have to, it's really, I think, about the games. You have to really sell people on why they need this device, how much better it is to have this device when you're playing certain games. Because that will probably be what will get people. If there were games that were made exclusively for the device, that'll be awesome too. But I really don't know if, I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're going to still have an option for people to play these other games without using that device too. So, but I think the games and a competitive price point, I think around 149 would be a dream. 199 seemed probably a little bit more accurate, only because, yeah, I think that's about how much somebody would spend on any type of handheld device or some type of peripheral, depending upon what it is. But yeah, the price has to be competitive in the games. And if it came with something, if it was a package where somebody bought that and they got a couple of games with it, that can also be a good selling point. But they have to do a very good job explaining why people need that, because it's going to be a lot of stuff that people are going to want. Not to mention the fact that Sony's device is also supposed to come out in the spring of next year as well. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how these two companies sell people on the idea of this technology, and why they need it. Sony has a lot of the gamers now, so they probably won't need to do that much to sell people on why they need this. But again, I will be very interested to see how both sides handle that particular situation, because it's going to be kind of competitive, I would think.
Yeah,
but
you're completely right about, what you said about software. Like, they definitely need to get a huge list of publishers and developers on board to support the technology. Like, that's going to be a huge driving factor.
Yeah.
And, I think if anyone can tackle, creating a great multiplayer online experience with VR, I think that's a great combo right there in itself. Like, if you can play games with your friends in VR, that would be incredible. I think, like, especially for MMO type stuff, that would be awesome to explore worlds together in VR and stuff like that. So, if the first developer to really tackle that challenge is going to be great.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why it's a wide open opportunity for those that are in the space right now. But I mean, we'll see. I'm pretty sure we'll get more answers as to what they're planning to do with the Oculus. I mean, if it's coming out in the first quarter of 2016, it has to be at E3 in some capacity, on a much larger presence than it was in the past. Because before, I know they just had the little rooms where you can go in and sample it, and that was in another area isolated from where all the other show stuff was at. So to my understanding, if it is coming out in early next year, people will not have the opportunity to experience it on the full scale level, unless it's at E3 in a major setting, other than what it was before.
Yeah, let me tell you, like, if Oculus and Morpheus are really coming out next year spring, then man, they're gonna have to go all out at E3, especially Sony, because Sony's done a poor job promoting Morpheus so far, I think. So yeah, they're gonna have to really do a lot at E3 if they want.
Yes, they are definitely going to. We'll see how that pans out. Yeah. So if any of you guys have any thoughts on Oculus coming out in 2016, if it's something that you're planning on getting, definitely, let us know in the comment section what you think about the device. Also, let us know what you think about Assassin's Creed Victory / Syndicate, whether or not you're going to get it. Do you still believe in Ubisoft? So on and so forth.
Also, before we move on, speaking of 2016, I remember that they also hinted that we might see Street Fighter 5 spring 2016 as well.
Oh yes.
What do you think of that?
Well, here's the thing. I think that Sony is going to definitely talk about this heavily at their conference. I think a lot of the stuff that you will hear about, they're going to have some stuff there for 2015 games, but they're also going to heavily emphasize the 2016 games, because I really don't know what they could be dropping this year that we don't already know about. We know about No Man's Sky. There will probably be a surprise or two, and if not, there'll be third-party content that they'll be talking about for games such as Fallout 4, which everybody keeps saying is going to be at E3, and in this case, coming out this year. So that's what we'll probably see. But for Street Fighter in particular, I like to think that it is coming out sometime next year. I don't think it's coming out that early, because again, I don't know how far along they are with this process. When they first showed it to us, it looked to me like they just started on the game. So I don't really know how far along they are at this stage. They did have the little thing where they were showing character reveals every so often. They showed Charlie Nash is in the game. I haven't seen that on a regular basis, so that will lead me to believe, well, they're probably very heavy in development now. I wouldn't rule out it coming out in spring, but I think more than likely it's going to be coming out a little bit later into 2016. I don't know if it's going to be out that quick. This is Capcom, and I don't know what else they're working on beside from this. You know, if Resident Evil 7 gets announced eventually, which it will eventually get announced, that's another project too, probably with another team working on that. So, but I'm not really sure what you know, when it's going to come out. What I will say is that they're making money now. You know, the Resident Evil remaster sold incredibly well for them. They're making money, so I don't want them to rush this game. I want the game to actually be good when it comes out. So I really don't care if it comes out early 2016, late 2016, just so long as it comes out and it works and it's good. That's all that I care about. So hopefully, though, whenever it does come out, it will be worth the wait. But I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll find out at E3 in a couple of weeks whether or not it is scheduled to come out early 2016. We'll see, because you gotta remember they also got Uncharted coming out in spring. So I don't know if they want to come out and have this game coming out at the same time. I mean, maybe. Who knows? We'll see.
Is Uncharted definitely confirmed for spring?
Yeah, there's no date yet, but it is coming out in spring. I mean, it could very, very easily be something whereas Uncharted comes out in March or April, and then Street Fighter comes out the month before or after that. So who knows what they're going to do with that. But Uncharted is a major game for the system, even more so than Street Fighter is. Unless you're a hardcore fighting game fan, I would think Uncharted is the major game, though, for the system. So I don't know if they want to have too many other stuff that close together when they can just spread it out evenly, you know, by month if they need to. Just like they did with The Order and Bloodborne, where one came out in February, the other came out in March. This could be the same situation with Street Fighter and Uncharted if it does, in fact, come out in the springtime.
Yeah, and let me just say, you know, to all the Sony fans that I might have offended, you know, recently, you know, if they manage to release Uncharted 4 and Street Fighter 5, you know, within a month of each other in spring, then I'll give Sony major props on that, because, you know, they're dropping heat in the spring.
Wait a second.
So,
you ain't gonna give them props for The Order 1886 and Bloodborne, which also came out a month apart?
I give them props for Bloodborne,
yeah. All right, well, yeah, Bloodborne is an awesome game. Order 1886 is okay too. It's not a bad game. It needs some work, but we'll see what happens with the sequel. But yeah, I mean, what did you think about the Street Fighter thing? Are you
I mean, spring seems to be the time for fighting games. You know, it seems like the perfect time to release a fighting game, I think. Either that or summer. You know, summertime is also a good season to drop fighting games. But you know, we saw Mortal Kombat that dropped last month.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people have been playing that. There hasn't really been much competition for it. So I think it's perfect timing for a fighting game like that. So yeah, if they can release it at that time, then that's great.
Well, you know, we'll see. I mean, I think it is possible to a degree, but again, I mean, I don't know how far along they are. I guess we'll know once they make their little presentation at E3 exactly where they are with this game and whether or not it is going to come out. It can come out, but it all depends. You know, we haven't seen anything new about the game yet, so we have to see exactly what it is that they talk about when we get to that level. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a lot to talk about. We actually are going to be talking about E3 in more detail next week. We're going to be talking about what we think is going to be at the show. I know Mr. Charles Singletary will be here for that as well, so definitely look forward to that episode. But we got a few other topics to address. So the next topic, you know, Nintendo released their financial statements, and surprisingly, they turned a profit for the first time in years. One thing in particular that I noticed, they actually, those Amiibo toys, they have sold 10.5 million of those toys worldwide. 66% of their sales are in the US, and in Europe as well. So here's the question. The question is, so how does their future look right now when we look at Nintendo? We know they got they got this new thing coming out next year, which whether it's a system or not, they haven't really specified what it is. But how do we say that their future is looking now based upon this news that they're actually selling now? They're making money now.
Well, first of all, I'm going to clap to Nintendo because they found a great way to nickel and dime their audience with a that's led to their financial success. So much props to Nintendo for that. That's good business right there. Secondly, they have to keep this momentum going. I mean, the future does look kind of interesting for Nintendo right now because you've got the NX that they announced.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what it is yet, but we know that that's coming. The 3DS is still doing its numbers, and they're still releasing good software for it. So no complaints there. And the 3DS, I saw that. I mean, not the 3DS, the Wii U. Sorry, the Wii U. I saw that the sales have really picked up for that. So that's good too. We just need them to drop more games for it. We need Zelda. We need all these other games that people are looking forward to. Did they release Star Fox yet, or is that coming out soon?
They have not announced that yet. It's supposed to come out before Zelda, and it is highly speculated that is going to be the game that's coming out this holiday. But they have not made that announcement yet. They're going to make that announcement at the direct right around E3. Whatever they're going to announce, they're going to announce what the fall game is. So there'll be a couple other games in there too, I'm sure. But yeah, that's going to be announced.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I really salute Nintendo on is that they're being very self-aware. Like, they know now that, their third-party support sucks, and they can no longer rely on that. So, they're knowing that they are their biggest asset. There's their software, their library that they have. That's their biggest sell right there. So as long as they can keep the content consistently flowing enough, I'm sure they'll be all right. Because I mean, they've got a loyal base of gamers and followers that will support them no matter what. And once you have that, then if you keep serving them, then you'll do well. You'll go far. So I can't really fault Nintendo much right now. I mean, they're doing what Sony isn't. They're releasing great first-party software.
Oh, whoa, uh-oh.
You might have to wait. You might have to wait a long time for that first-party software, but they're doing it well so far. They're doing it better than Sony is. So, well,
let me respond to that in particular. We'll get back to Sony. With Nintendo, it's great to hear that they turned a profit. I know a lot of people will say that I hate Nintendo and I would like to see Nintendo, suffer. No, that's not the case. I mean, I grew up on Nintendo. That was one of the first systems I had. Nintendo, regular Nintendo, the running pad, Duck Hunt, all those games I played. Anytime that I had good grades in school, the reward was that my parents would get me a video game system. So I got respect for Nintendo. I had everything that they had. But my thing with Nintendo is that I do applaud them for the games that they're bringing out, but I've grown up in terms of not really caring so much about the games in particular. I mean, when I look at Nintendo, I see a lot of games that the audience is more catered towards kids to some degree. It's a little bit too kid friendly, and I don't really want to be playing those type of games in particular. Perfect example, Jake James Lugo was on our Twitch last night playing the Splatoon beta. Splatoon looks like a fun game. Is that enough to make me want to buy a Wii U? The hell no, it is not. And that's just because it's just not really my cup of tea. Whenever Nintendo does a mature game, like, let me be realistic here, okay? GameCube. When the GameCube came out, Capcom dropped Resident Evil 0. When I saw that game came out, I said, I got to play that game. I got to play that game, and I was satisfied with that because I want to play mature rated games on the Nintendo console. But the thing is, majority of the things they put out, it's really more kid friendly. You know, I know there are a lot of grown people that play kid games, and I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. But for me personally, I like to play something more mature. The Fatal Frame game that they got coming out sounds intriguing. Hell, if they somehow, you know, decided to release a Zelda game that actually was you know, violent, and then there was blood, and then it was like a mature type of game, I would definitely buy that. But to me, it's like, I see a game they're dropping, kiddie games. I mean, Kirby, no. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, Star Fox is intriguing because I enjoy Star Fox. I enjoy the hell out of that franchise. I don't know whether or not that's going to get announced to come out this year. I would think it is coming out this year because Zelda is not coming out. And let me just be clear. I'm not saying the Zelda game isn't good either, because the Zelda game looks awesome. It's not done yet, but it looks awesome. But to me personally, something about it, whereas I just feel when you get to a certain level, I want something a little bit more mature. I don't want it to be too, you know, toned down with the violence and all the other stuff. You know, I'm not going to go out and commit a crime by playing a violent video game. No, that would never happen. I just enjoy stuff that is a little bit more mature. You know, Wolfenstein, the Old Blood, the New Order, awesome game. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, awesome game. It's a lot more mature in the context, more violent, more stuff like that. And it deals with a lot of different topics, whether it's on politics or social stuff like that. I mean, I like that stuff more so than the stuff where it's just like, you know, and I mean, some of these themes are in some of the Nintendo games as well, to some degree. But again, on the surface, I see the game and it's like, you know, it's not really something that intrigues me too much. But I do give them props.
I agree with you on that. Like, you know, I mean, it's just the games aren't appealing to everyone. You know, it's like they play it safe with their games, and
Yes.
The games are very universal. You know, they're accessible to everyone of all ages. You know, no matter what age you are, no matter who you are, you can play one of those games safely. You know, but we like games that speak to us. We like games with, you know, mature violence, adult themes, and dialogues and all that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what we want to see. So yeah.
And you know what you said about being safe, you know, the best way to describe that, yeah, a lot of people are safe with their content. Another example would be the people who make the Walking Dead TV show, and the fact that they do not want to kill off any of the major characters that are on that show, just because they know if they did that, people there will be petitions, people will be angry, they will be livid. But eventually it has to happen.
There'll be no petitions for the black characters though, so they can go ahead and kill those.
Oh no, the black characters are too busy burying themselves as well. You know, arguing with people on trains, and then, you know, getting into high-speed chases with police. So yeah, they are burying themselves as well. But yeah, no, there will be no petitions for that. They, you know, Father Bill is finished. It's game over. But yeah, I just feel like too much of a safe approach, because they know that will work. Now, again, the amiibo thing in and of itself, though, that was something where you had to know that was going to be successful and take off because of that, because of the fact of what they were doing. That strategy with the toys as well, similar to what you see with Disney Infinity, because I know Disney Infinity 3.0 got announced this week, and in Star Wars, so that is definitely going to sell like hotcakes. But the toy thing is a very popular thing, so I'm glad they had success with that, because I did not know what else they were going to do. Also, the news came out about the Universal Studios park, that they're going to have some type of partnership they have with Universal Studios, so they have a theme park.
Yeah, I heard something about that. So there's actually going to be a Nintendo theme park?
Yes, there's going to be some type of Nintendo-themed rides. I'm not sure what that is, because they just announced it. They didn't really go into any details, and that may not get done for like another 3 or 4 years. But yeah, they're making some very good moves to assure that they will still be around. I mean, I think we knew that they wasn't going to die completely, because they still have loyal fans. They have people who buy Mario games, Zelda games. As long as they have those loyal fans, they're going to be all right. Just like Apple has loyal fans that will buy every product that they have, even though they don't need it. So they're going to still be around. Yeah, the theme park thing was news. The amiibo selling was a big deal. So yeah, I'm happy that Nintendo's doing well. I just want them to make a game that I actually would be interested enough to actually play. Maybe Star Fox can do that. I don't know. I don't know. I just want them to take a little bit more risk with the content and do stuff that they think would appeal. Don't make it all be always about we got to make it kid friendly. We got to make kids want it. No, because grown people play the system as well. That's why Fatal Frame, that is an intriguing game, but I haven't played any of the other ones to know that it is a horror game, a little bit more mature. That's interesting, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for me. I still want something, a particular game to be on that system. Plus, third-party stuff is not on there, so that's another reason why I really don't know if it's something that I would need to invest in. But maybe I'll change after what I see what happens at E3 with Nintendo. You know, we'll see what happens.
I just read something very interesting. They want to make the Nintendo theme park so realistic that you're going to have to wait in line for the Zelda ride for 3 years. That's pretty interesting.
No. Listen, man, that theme park will be very interesting if they done right. You know, I know Universal has some very awesome things. I saw what they did with the Spider-Man ride. That was awesome. I enjoyed that. They had the Incredible Hulk roller coaster. That roller coaster is absolutely outrageous. You know, and I was not prepared for that because when I jumped in the helicopter and it just took off, it's like, whoa, no. Jumped in the roller coaster and it just took off. It's like, whoa.
Wait, which Universal park did you go to? Because I went to one in LA with your boy Edward V.
Oh, yeah, y'all did go there last year. No, I went to the one in Florida.
Okay.
The one in Florida was cool. I don't know if they had the exact same ride as the LA one. They had Jurassic Park there, right?
Yeah, they had Jurassic Park. They had Transformers. They had like a Simpsons area. They had Despicable Me. Yeah, they didn't have no Spider-Man or Hulk though.
Spider-Man ride is in Florida. That was awesome. It's like a little ride when you get into a car and you got to wear 3D glasses. That was awesome. I don't know if they changed and updated that because that came out before the movie. One of the first movies came out. So it's an old ride now. And then the Incredible Hulk roller coaster was just ridiculous. It's just like it's like one of those roller coasters where you jump in and it starts, goes up the hill, and then as soon as it drops, it's like immediately it just speeds, goes ridiculously fast. It was awesome, but man, I was not ready for that. But
that's dope. Yeah,
I mean, what Nintendo rides?
Okay, sorry.
Oh no! I was just saying I'll be interested to see what Nintendo rides are going to be there. I'm sure Mario, Zelda, some other stuff. But no, what was you going to say?
I was just going to say Universal have a great track record with these theme parks because they do the Harry Potter theme park too that I've always wanted to go to. So
that's true, Harry Potter. Yeah, you're right about that. I haven't been on that ride, but you're right about that. They do have a very good track record. So I mean, I think it was a smart partnership. The main thing is that Nintendo is doing well, which is great. And I wish them continued success. But in terms of me buying a Wii U, I don't know, man. I definitely will buy a 3DS though, because the 3DS lineup is a lot more impressive. I think stuff like Xenoblade Chronicles looks very intriguing. And then of course they had all the other games that came out before that one, Fire Emblem Awakening. All those games look interesting, so I will probably definitely pick that up without question. As for the other stuff on Wii U, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they could sell me this year. I'm not going to expect them to do that because I haven't really seen anything yet, but maybe I'll see something that'll blow me away. We'll find out soon either way. But I think that concludes the Nintendo discussion. Now we're going to talk about the major discussion, just to go back to Sony, because you mentioned Sony beforehand. So we now know that Gamescom, which will be coming up this summer, Sony has decided not to have a show at Gamescom, whereas Microsoft decided that they are going to have one. Now, if you have been following this story, Microsoft normally doesn't have a Gamescom show. And Sony always does. Sony decided to instead have a show. I believe it's going to be in France during Paris Games Week. They're going to have a separate show there. They're also probably going to have the PlayStation Experience again later this year in December in Las Vegas. So Sony is now in a position to have different shows and not just sticking to the script. So before we get to Microsoft, first and foremost, let's ask the question, is this a great strategy by Sony not to have a Gamescom show? Or does it in any way indicate that they may not potentially have much to talk about, which is why they're not going to have a show at Gamescom? What do you think?
There's two ways to look at it. From my side of things, they're doing it because they don't have enough to show at Gamescom. But you know, from their perspective, it does make a lot of sense to do their own show because one thing that I do think publishers should do more, you know, and companies in general and stuff, is control, you know, their own media and their own, you know, events and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And you know, if they can throw their own event, you know, they can go 100% with it and go balls deep and, you know, put on a great show. And they control the whole flow of the show pretty much because it's their event. So that is kind of smart in a sense. And, you know, I think I think that's scheduled for after Gamescom, right? Okay.
Yeah, it takes place later this year.
Yep. So, I mean, while Gamescom happens and Microsoft, you know, they're obviously going to get a lot of press during that event. This event is going to come by after, and it's going to knock out everything that, you know, Microsoft did pretty much because it's going to be more fresh in people's minds. So it's definitely a good strategy. But ultimately, I feel like they skipped on Gamescom because they wanted to do their own event, but they didn't have enough content to show at both shows because they're probably so close together. So it didn't make sense, you know, because they didn't have that much to show. So, yeah.
Well, those are good points. What I think is, yeah, I agree that these companies should definitely take control of the message and the schedules, and you know, go make an effort to go out here and have more shows. I applaud Sony for doing something a little different. They're not sticking to the script. They're trying to change things up, which is why they're not going to be at the show. Now, we could argue that they probably don't have much to show. Right now, we don't know what it is that they are going to show at E3. And I guess after you see what they show at E3, that will let you know whether or not they have anything else to really talk about at a Gamescom or this other show. One thing I do know is that traditionally, every single time now, Gamescom has more playable games than are at E3. So I am a little interested as to why they won't be there in some capacity, because everybody knows they'll be able to play more games at Gamescom. Because
they're going to be on the floor, though, right? I think.
I'm not 100% certain about that.
Okay.
When I know that they were skipping it, they could still in some capacity have games that are out there on the floor. I'm pretty sure the third-party games that are going to be there, the third-party studios or what have you, they'll have playable builds of the PlayStation 4 version of that game. But I just know that Sony in particular will not be at the event. But I'm not sure to what capacity they're going to have a presence there. I have to believe they'll have some third-party titles there at the very least, or some type of booth or something. I'm not 100% certain about that. But Microsoft, just to get to the bare bones facts, Sony is in the lead, so therefore they can do whatever they want to do in terms of these shows. They can decide whether they want to be a Gamescom or they want to have their own show. They're very profitable. They're making very good money with the PlayStation 4. They have all the gamers on their side, and they've made the gamers the focus. So this is why now they have the lead, and they can do what they want to do. As for Microsoft, Microsoft needs to be at this event. They need to do a lot more than just this event. I would say they need to have other events as well, because one thing I know about is E3. We already know about E3. We already know that there'll now be a Gamescom, but what else do they have coming aside from these two events? My thing is that Microsoft, and this is why it's very frustrating. Microsoft, let's be realistic here. Microsoft, they can do so much more with the Xbox, with everything that they're doing with the system. they have money because of all the things that they're involved in, but yet they are still limiting what they can do with the system, exposing it, doing more stuff for it. And that's what the problem is. Whereas Sony, you can say Sony, they have a lot that they're going on too, but the gaming is the only thing that's really making the most of their profits right now. But they're going all in because they have the gamers, they have these third-party deals, they have the exclusives, the games that they're working on, even though it may not necessarily come out immediately. It's coming because you know that they're good for that. They always have exclusives that they have rounding up one after the other. So that's a good thing. But the thing is with Microsoft is Microsoft could be doing a hell of a lot more with the Xbox One, and they're still limited in terms of what they are doing. Now, I'm going to be very interested to see what they do with E3, since Phil has made it, he said time and time again, they're going to focus on first party stuff, which is good. They should do that. But again, I don't know what all they can do to basically convince people that they really should look into the system. I can tell you right now, as somebody who owns the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I've said many times, most of the third-party games I buy are on PlayStation 4, because the thing about it is when Sony dropped the PlayStation 4 and they came out early, I recall when I bought that system, I bought it at Best Buy. I went the night of release. I did not pre-order the system. I decided that I was going to go there. They had a line that they had to get the system, and I was the last person to get the system because the line cut off after I got there. So that was a pretty good timing. But I recall I had conversations with the people in that line, all friends that I now have on PlayStation 4. That's why I said, for them to drop that system and come out early, they had an advantage right there, because you had people who wanted the system and they had friends who all got the system early, so more friends were on there. Whereas the Xbox came out a week later, it wasn't too late, but it's just that the messaging was so bad with the way that they handled everything leading up to the launch, which is why now they're still recovering. The games are good. I mean, I enjoyed Sunset Overdrive. I enjoyed Forza Horizon 2. Great games, period. They have a very strong lineup so far of the games we know about. We don't know if Tomb Raider is coming out this year. I mean, it is supposed to come out this fall. That game could get delayed, though. We don't know that. I would think that it's not going to get delayed, but we know Halo is coming out because we have a date for that. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do this fall, aside from those games. But they definitely need to have more shows. I think Gamescom will be good for them. They need to have that, but they need to have other stuff as well to remind people and just to show them why, you bought this system. We support you 100%. They keep saying where they're focusing on games, but it can't be just focusing on the games and talking only at the shows you're supposed to talk about. You should try and make initiatives to do other stuff outside of that as well, because they can afford to. They're making billions of dollars. They can afford to use that money in other areas to improve the gaming stuff. But we'll see I we'll have to see what they do. But they're going to have to do some stuff at E3, because they have to convince people that they need to, for those that don't have an Xbox One, they need to have an Xbox One, that they need to purchase one. They have to do some stuff to, improve that at E3. But no, what was you going to say?
Well, nothing, but I mean, just bouncing off what you were saying. Yeah, these events are going to be pretty crucial to both companies, especially Microsoft, because, Microsoft are, behind Sony right now on the console sales. So they definitely have to get out there and campaign more and, show people why they need that console. And me personally, I'm actually looking to see what Microsoft is going to deliver at E3, before I make my decision to buy an Xbox One. I'm pretty sure I will at this point, because, it seems like they're dedicating a lot of time to make exclusives and stuff. So, I do think I'm going to buy the console. The only reason I'm skeptical on it is because I don't need, another console that I'm just going to use for third-party games, because I already have a PC and a PS4, which is essentially enough. But if Microsoft are going to have some amazing exclusives, then I'm definitely buying the console, because, just to play those games. So, Yeah, Microsoft, they got to do a lot of campaigning this year, and that's why it makes sense to be at Gamescom. And I mean, Sony, I just hope Sony don't get too comfortable. That's all I'm saying. I don't want them to get too comfortable in first place, because they still got to get out there and campaign too. I mean, I know that they're in first place and everything, so they can probably afford to skip Gamescom, but don't get too cocky. Don't get too comfortable, man. Microsoft's going to be at your neck this fall. So
one thing that I will add to that is, like I said, it definitely is a major change for both companies this generation. But the marketing of the games, that definitely has to improve. A perfect example, Microsoft, they market the hell out of Halo, which is a major title. That's good. That's great. That's dandy. They got to do a better job of marketing other games on the console as well. Take, for example, a game like B4, Dark Dreams Don't Die. This is a title by, it's one of those titles that is an episodic game. This is a game that a lot of people was looking forward to. It was supposed to be a launch title on the Xbox One, and then eventually it came out, well past launch. But they did no promotional advertising for this, nothing whatsoever. The indie games that are on the system now, they don't promote those games either. You just see, they're on there in the marketplace. That's it. But again, it doesn't make any kind of sense that they don't do the marketing. They have to improve in that area. And I know this is an issue that Sony had last generation, where it wasn't really marketing to the degree that they needed to market some of these games that were coming out. But the games, they don't have that issue now. They try and market when they can. And it's not a problem. I mean, I haven't seen any Bloodborne advertisements, but again, not a big deal, because that was a game where we already knew it was going to be a very, very successful game for Sony. But I just think that the marketing definitely needs to improve for Microsoft, getting the message out there, because, I mean, they still have issues that they have to recover. One thing I did want to say real fast, this may go a little bit off topic. I'm going to address it on here. I think you know what I'm going to address. There was news that came out this week that Far Cry 4 Complete Edition is coming only to PlayStation 4 and PC. And one of our biggest fans and one of our harshest critics as well decided to approach me on Twitter, ranting and raving, talking about, oh, it's coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox loss. Let me say this. The Far Cry 4 Complete Edition is Far Cry 4 and the Season Pass, which is available on every platform except for Wii U. So the Gold Edition, which is on Xbox One right now, as I look at the marketplace and I see it is on there right now, it just doesn't make any sense. Plus, again, the Complete Edition only coming to Europe. So why this fan, quote unquote, fanboy, let's just call him what he is, a fanboy, why he decided to say, oh, this like it's a big deal, only in Europe. They didn't say nothing about US. But I guess, he is planning on moving to Europe, so he felt the need to take that shot and throw it my way for whatever reason. Let me just say this right now. Like I said, I'm a gamer. I love every console. I don't have a Wii U because I don't see anything there that I'm intrigued, but I have both consoles because I don't feel like I need to make a choice of which console I like more. I mean, I'm a gamer. Plus, I write about games. So it will make no kind of sense to only have one view of what one system offers from a professional standpoint. But I actually love both games. I will tell you, first and foremost, Sony has been kicking ass all this year. I mean, they've been kicking ass since it started because they were the first ones to drop their system. They really, really, emphasized that they were all about the gamers. And that was exactly why they're number one right now. Microsoft decided to focus on entertainment and all this other stuff outside of gaming. And this is why they're playing catch up now. They have to win people back over. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, well, I'm a fanboy of this company. I'm only a fanboy of that company. No, like I said before, I will always say whenever a company does bad, I'm going to talk bad about them. There is no safety net. Microsoft made a lot of mistakes. They're going to make more mistakes. Sony would appear to not have made any mistakes yet with the PlayStation 4, but they have made a ton of mistakes with the Vita. The Vita has hardly any support, and I know people are going to come to me in the comments saying we got JRPGs. Where are the original games that are made specifically for that device? When I bought a Vita, I was expecting, you know, great games. Killzone Mercenary, a great game. You know, it's made specifically from the device by the actual developer, not another company coming in to take over and do the Vita version. So I'm not here to tell you that Sony is doing everything perfectly, because the Vita, no, I'm still not sold on that. And I think I have an opinion to say that because I actually purchased the system. You know, it's not like I'm going to come out here and make a statement about something and then I can't back up the facts. The reason why I buy these systems is to be critical, talk about the pros and the cons. So again, I'm not a fanboy by any level. I will always keep it real and tell you when a company messes up. And why I said Sony, great job with the PlayStation 4. Vita, not impressed whatsoever. Xbox One, in trouble now. And yeah, they have a lot of work to do. Nintendo, not impressed with what they have, but I give them props. But again, like I said, I will always keep it balanced and fair, because that's what I do. I'm not no fanboy like other people will claim, or they want me to be a fanboy. Nah, nah, son, that's not how this goes. But I wanted to say that. But
shouts to I'm just gonna go ahead and name him. Shouts to Joe Killer, man, because that guy cracks me up, man. He is a comedian. He should take that up because he tells jokes. He wants to see Microsoft fail. He made that very clear in the comments. He says that, you know, and to me it's like, okay, you don't buy the system, that's fine. If you don't like it, then just don't talk about it. But to want to see a company fail is like, okay. And then when Sony makes a mistake, he will never address that. He will just pretend like that didn't exist. That let's not even worry about that. And that's pretty ridiculous. You know, anyone who is a gamer, you know, you're going to acknowledge when a company makes a mistake. You're not just going to sit back here and just try to pretend like nothing happened or everything is fine. No. So it is what it is. But that's another topic. And that's the last time that I'll say anything about this. So when you get this message, Joe Killer, if you wonder why I'm not responding on Twitter, I'm done with these conversations. This is a waste of my time to talk about fanboy stuff. I just have to say it because getting too old for this drama. I know where I stand as a gamer. If you have issues with that and you have issue with where you stand, well, that's something for you to work out yourself. But I will not be responding to any more messages you send me about this fanboy stuff. It makes no kind of sense. I'm not going to waste my time. It's good. Yes. Good for PlayStation. I'm happy for them. I really am happy for them. I mean, I really am happy for them. I mean, I played the PlayStation 4 more than the Xbox One. So obviously I'm a fan of both, though, because Halo 5, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, no, I'm not going to get that. Come on, son. That's the game, Microsoft's big game coming out this year. Of course I'm going to have that. But if you want to campaign for only Sony and bash Microsoft, be my guest. Just don't put me in these conversations because I'm not going to respond to them anymore. That's all I got to say. Yo, I just got one thing to say, man. Last week, we saw Pacquiao versus Mayweather. But my dream match is Joe Killer versus Others Inc. Like I want to see that on a versus, man. That'd
be very interesting. That'd be very interesting. But we don't have enough. It would never end. It will be a lot of people talking over each other. It would never end. And it would have to get cut, similar to what happened with the versus when that had to get held cut at the seams. But yeah, I just think at the end of the day, I'm not knocking people for having a preference. It's okay if you have a preference, but to sit here and bash the other console just because makes absolutely no kind of sense. I mean, that's a fanboy right there. Like I said, anyone who is a true gamer, they're going to acknowledge the pros and cons of every system. You're not going to only talk about one system and then bash the other one, having not played it, having just talking on, oh, this is all because you're listening to what the media says about a system. The resolution is horrible. 900p is a horrible resolution. 1080p is the best. Whereas, once again, PC gamers already know PC is the best because it's the best of everything. But let's just try to ignore that because, it takes so much money to build a PC and all this other stuff, all these excuses. But, yeah, again, as I said, I didn't want to ramble on. I know I rambled on quite a bit, but I had to say that because tired of the fanboy shit. This is not who I am. You can go ahead and entertain it more. Those that leave comments and they want to call me out, go ahead and call me out. But I will not respond to it. I'm done with that. I'm retiring from any discussions about this type of fanboy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the fanboy back and forth thing is always kind of petty, but you know, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy reading it. Like, you know, yeah, especially our comment section. Like our comment section in the co-op last week, that was epic. Shouts to what's that dude's name? Fern Gully.
Yeah, Fern Gully dropped the hammer.
That comment was hilarious. Like I was on the floor. So shouts to that guy, man.
I mean, yeah, the fanboy, you know, these discussions are funny. They're funny, but you know, people get too serious about it. You know, you gotta, nah, son, I'm backing away from that. I'm not going to jump into that because this doesn't make any kind of sense. Like I said, I'm a gamer. Nobody is going to tell me you have to like only one console. Fuck that. I spend money on my consoles. I'm entitled to say whatever I want to say about them, good or bad. It's just that simple. At least that's how I look at it. But those that want to disagree, feel free to disagree. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everything is fine. Like the people who think Microsoft is, oh, they're doing excellent. They're going to turn a profit. The one game, Halo 5, is going to close the gap. That comment makes me laugh because it's going to take more than one game to close the gap. Halo is going to be a phenomenal game. That we know it's going to be awesome. Is it going for Microsoft to catch up and sell all through and actually catch up with Sony? No, it will not, because Sony has too large of a lead. We already know this. And Sony, again, they have said time and time again they're about the gamers. So what that means is that they stuck to those words thus far. So what that means is that because they made that message very clear in the beginning, they will always have a lead until Microsoft does something about it. But even if Microsoft does improve, I don't think they will ever catch up. That's just the honest fact. And like I said, I can come to that realization when I continue to see the sales of the consoles and I continue to see that the games are not getting the attention they need to get. So I think it's very clear to come to that conclusion and say that's what it is. Now, it's not bad to be in second place. So Microsoft is going to definitely make it a point to get the system back to some relevance, have a lot of first-party titles. That's good. That's what we need instead of these third-party deals. But it is what it is. But again, sorry if this is a rant for those that are wondering why I'm still talking, why I said so much. I had to get some of this stuff off my chest because I see people always have something to say. They want to try and rile me up. Well, this is it. This is the last time you'll hear me rant to this degree about the fanboy stuff. I just think it's silly. It makes no kind of sense. And I'm getting older, so I'm starting to see the light now. Makes no kind of sense to have those type of discussions with people who are actually serious about it. If you're joking, that's fine. But if you're serious about it, you need to get your head examined, son. I mean, that's bottom line. That's the bottom line. So,
ladies and gentlemen, that was the uh-oh factor.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Perhaps there was. So, any final thoughts you have to say about Microsoft, Sony, or are you all set?
No, I think we both summed it up really well, especially you with that rant. You know, that was incredible right there. So
well, I had to say it. I'm tired of. I had to say it, but you know, I got respect for people. I got respect for you, Joe Killer. I just don't agree with anything that you have to say about anything fanboy related, especially when you admit and say you are a fanboy. That was it. The conversation is over. So, but continue to enjoy the PlayStation 4. It has excellent games. You see me on there all the time. So for you to continue to come at me talking about what's up with Microsoft, it's like you asking me. You need to ask Microsoft that question. Don't ask me that question. I don't know. I'm on PlayStation 4, so obviously I'm enjoying my experience on PlayStation 4. So I don't know why we need to discuss what's going on with Microsoft. But I spend equal time on both, so that's how it is. That's how it should be. If you are a real gamer and you want to see everything that is out there, you're going to make an effort to try both consoles out for the exclusives or what have you. But it is what it is.
And real quick, shouts to Carl Daniel. He's watching the show live, and he just said, "Preacher Bailey."
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, Daniel. Glad that you are enjoying the show. we're going to get you on here again sooner or later. Talk about this E3 recap. But I think that's about it for this week's episode. I know we rambled on quite a bit. Shout outs to Mr. James Lugo. He didn't make it back. You know, I knew that was probably going to be something went down with that. But he'll be back on the next show. Like I said, we're going to talk about E3 next week. There'll be some very interesting discussions that we'll get into. But you have any shout outs you would like to give, Gary?
Shouts to, all those commenters that I mentioned before, Seth, Fern Gully, Other Zinc, Joe Killer, all you guys that participate in the comments every week. Like, you make it entertaining for me, and you make doing this every week worth it. So shouts to all you guys. Thanks for supporting the show. Don't forget to donate if you really want to. There should be an icon somewhere in the top right corner. So look out for that on the video, and you should be able to donate if you want to. And look out for a lot more YouTube content as well. Me personally, I'm gonna try and get some content up there. To all my battle rap fans, I know I haven't done Knights of the Turntable Arena in a long time, but today is Gnome 5, and I will be doing a recap for that, after the event and stuff. So look out for that on YouTube as well at some point. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say, man.
Yeah, well, you said it best, and as Gary said, you do have an option to donate to the show if you want to. Again, this show will always be free. We always like to share our opinions. Sorry that we could not get others to come on the show today, but again, we have a very busy schedule. Time is a little limited because I got some other stuff that I got to do today as well, just as Gary does. So we had to keep the show relatively a little bit light today. There wasn't really that much happened anyway because everything is gearing up for E3. But again, we always appreciate you guys and girls listening to the show. Leave comments. Continue to leave comments. Let us know how you think the show was. If you'd like to answer any of the topics we discussed, please feel free to, comment and let us know what you think. But once again, thank you guys for the continued support. I wish you all a happy Mother's Day for those of you that are celebrating it. Also, if you got a baby mama, you better make sure you do something for her tomorrow, even if you don't like her. You got to do something. It's Mother's Day, right? Yeah, you got to do something. But that pretty much is it for the Co-op episode 117. Your host, Richard Bailey Jr., joined by Gary Swaby. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.